haters. I'm doing deals like the majors. Ice cream sneakers, I signed my first skater. So you could pay $3 and buy yourself some Babesters. Bulletproof on the t-shirts because they...
Okay, number 3. It says, for the following equation, find the amplitude, period, horizontal shift, and midline. Okay, so just looking at this form, let's put it in a little different form. And by that, I just mean by factoring out the b first. Okay, so getting that out of the way. So we have something like this. Okay, so now we can just basically identify directly what our variables are. So a is equal to 2, so our amplitude, so this is our amplitude is equal to 2. So we solve for that first thing. How about this? B is equal to 3, which tells us that our period, which is given by 2 pi over b, is equal to 2 pi over 3. Okay, so we found our period. There we go. So we checked off amplitude and period. How about horizontal shift? Our h is equal to 7, so that means we go to the right 7 units. Okay, all of our points shift right 7 units. And finally, our midline is given by y equals k, and k is equal to 4. So that means our midline is going to have the equation of y is equal to 4. Okay, so now for number 4, we're supposed to find a formula for this function graphed below. Okay, so the first thing is, okay, this could be a sine graph, possibly, or it could be a cosine graph. So let's see, let's determine which one we want to use, okay, because technically you could use either one, because sine and cosine are basically the same shape, just shifted horizontally by a factor of pi over 2 or so. Okay? Anyways, so let's say we wanted to use cosine. So let's say the cosine graph starts here and ends here, right? So our cosine, it would actually start at, so for cosine, if we were to use that, our start point would be negative 8.5 comma 4. That's a little bit weird. And our end point would be 1.5 comma 4, right? Okay, that's a little awkward because we have this like this non-integer values here. Let's say we were to do sine instead, okay? So let's say we start here and then end here for sine, okay? So for sine, if we were to use that, we could say we start at negative 11 comma 0. That's nice. And negative 1 comma 0, okay? So I think we're going to prefer sine in this case just because we have like whole numbers or like integers here, okay? So if we use our sine graph, we're going to say this is what we'll need. A, we need the amplitude, we have sine here, because we determined we want to use the sine one. B times t minus h, and then plus k. Alright, so first of all, let's find the midline. It looks like the midline is just going to be at y equals 0, because we go up and down 4 in either direction. Okay, so our midline is going to be y equals 0, which means that our k is equal to 0. Okay, so we got that out of the way. This guy's going to be 0. How about the amplitude? How much do we go up and down from our midline? That would be 4, because we go all the way up to positive 4 and all the way down to negative 4. Okay, so a equals 4. How about b now? That is going to be determined by our period. So let's study our graph first of all to see how long our period is. Okay, so we go from negative 11 to negative 1. So the distance in between that is just going to be 10. Okay, and this should be equal to, according to our formula, 2 pi over b. Okay, so we know that our b is now going to be 2 pi over 10, which can be reduced to pi over 5. Alright, so now we have our k, we have our a, we have our b, and now we just need the h, the horizontal shift. So we could say, because we said, well, our sine graph starts at negative 11, 0, right? So we went 11 to the left. But, I mean, that's kind of far, and it would be the exact same thing to say that we just shifted 1 to the left. Because technically, another sine cycle starts here, right? So it doesn't really matter where you actually start. So h, we could say that's actually equal to a negative 1. Just so we don't have to deal with an 11. Okay? So let's take all of this information and put it together on the next slide. So we have a is equal to 4. We had b, which we found to be pi over 5. We have h as negative 1. This could also just be a negative 11 as well, but let's just go for ones. K is equal to 0. So the formula for our function that was graphed on the previous slide is going to be equal to a, so 4, times sine of b, pi over 5, times, in parentheses, t minus our h, so minus a minus 1. Okay, I think I need one more parenthesis there, and then plus 0. So if we simplify this and make it look a little bit nicer, we get 4 times sine of pi over 5 times t plus 1. So you could leave it like this, or we could also just distribute that pi over 5 in. So let me just do that as the last step here. So f of t is equal to 4 times sine of pi over 5 times t, and then plus a pi over 5. Okay, so either of these answers works here. Okay, so that concludes the practice problems video on sinusoidal graphs. I hope that helps, and good luck on your homework.